You know, Minecraft is just one of those games where not many projects are simple. You might think to yourself, oh, I'm just gonna build a real quick farm, just get it done, and then I'll be able to move on, build another farm, build a house, and then you start to realize all the things you need to do in order to do that task. For example, I want to get more farms in this industrial district. I cannot wait to get this industrial district moving, but then I tell myself I really want to get my storage situation figured out, because right now I have just random chests laying around everywhere with random stuff in them. So I was like, okay, I need to decide to just move all my storage to one place. So I decided that I wanted that one place to be in my house that I spent a lot of time building. And then I was like, okay, I want to move all this mess, get it all cleaned up. I want to move it into my house. And then I was like, oh wait, my house doesn't have an interior. So I need an interior first. And with the size of this house, an interior is not going to be a quick thing, especially with me. I just get sidetracked and lose interest and just want to do something else. So then I'm like, okay, I need to do this interior. Let's get working on that. And then I think, well, I'm going to want like a lot of blocks, a lot of different blocks, a lot of decorations. And right now my inventory is kind of a mess. I'm gonna want as much space in my inventory as possible for all these different blocks and decorations that I want to put in my house. And again, I don't want to just keep having to run back and forth to different areas, getting different blocks. That is gonna make this take so much longer. I want to try to avoid that. So what I'm gonna do is get a bunch of decoration blocks all piled up into some shulker boxes. That way I can just have pretty much everything I need. So then I was like, okay, let's go do some resource gathering. Wait, do I have enough shulker boxes? I did not. So I spent about the next hour looting end cities again. Got a stack of shulker shells, so that should be plenty for a while. Got a bunch of shulker boxes color-coded and organized. Then I went to a desert and got a ton of sand. Then I went to this like jungle area, got a ton of gravel. Then I needed a ton of light gray dye. So I went and picked a bunch of flowers while I was getting shot at by mobs. Lost patience for that immediately and built a temporary flower farm. Crafted a bunch of concrete powder, and a lot of that needed to be converted into concrete, along with a bunch of other resources which I'm not even done gathering yet. Then I needed to design this all in creative. That took like half a day. That way it could go from this to, oh, hang on. Yeah, like that. So finally this interior it's still not done. But it's done enough to where I can put my chests where I want them and get all my storage consolidated into this house. And then we can worry about decorating this later. So let me give you a quick tour around the place. So you come in the front door and this is what you see. Now keep in mind, I got a lot of decorating to still do. Got like an andesite and polished andesite, like checkerboard pattern on the floor. Our spruce wood trim going all the way around the bottom of the house. Light gray concrete walls with the concrete powder on the top to kind of give a little bit more color, a little bit more like life and texture to the build. I kind of like the ceiling pattern. Originally I had this polished diorite and I didn't really like the look of it, so I changed it to granite. And then I came up with these little chandelier designs just kind of on the fly. I thought the mangrove would look kind of cool with this red and the brown a little bit. And then we got frog lights and lanterns right here. And I think this is the room I'm going to put a lot of my chests in. I'm not totally sure yet. I just want it to be easily accessible, so I don't want to have to come in the house and then go all the way up or downstairs or go, you know, I just want it to be like fairly central. So we come in here where this could be like a storage like main area, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of these rooms. These are kind of just to kind of reduce the amount of space I have to decorate. That's what these walls are for. And when you go in a house, you don't like just see this massively open like warehouse looking thing. You know, you got like divider walls and stuff like that all over the place. So I thought I would do that. I think this is going to be a little kitchen area right here where I have a bunch of like furnaces or something like that. And we got our little bar kind of thing right here, our little stools with the campfires that I put out. Down here is going to be our basement eventually. I just have it blocked off so mobs can't like swim down through there and then get up in here. Then another little like just back room kind of entrance deal here, and then we can come up these stairs. This is I don't know what I'm going to do with this room, but I kind of like it. I like how symmetrical it is and how just alone this room is. This is the only entrance and exit to this room. You got the flowers outside with the windows, and the view is pretty cool from here. I just like this room. This could be like maybe an enchanting room, or like I don't know. This just reminds me of like a meditation room almost, if that makes any sense. Then up here We got our stairs. I'm gonna have to decorate this and cover this stuff up. I thought this would be cool instead of just having a blank wall all the way up. Throw like, I don't know, some candles or some paintings or something in here. Got a window on our way up. And then we get up here. And a little bit different ceiling design. Not sure if I'm totally sold on it, but it took a while and I'm probably not going to spend a whole lot of time up here anyway. So it is what it is. Any little like room or space that is unoccupied, I'm going to try to like make it as useful as I can and put something there to like cover up the blankness of it. Like this kind of stuff under here. I could have a couple like crafting stations or something like that. Oh yeah, I did do like the beams. I thought this was kind of cool. This is kind of like a log cabin kind of deal, but then you walk out here. You got the same beam design right there with the high ceilings. I think it looks pretty cool. And then I guess I could make this a bedroom, but I don't know. This is pretty open right here for it to be a bedroom, and I want to leave this open. I want to just keep this like this. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this room or any of the rooms actually, but I just like the balcony. Look at oh, that looks so cool. This is gonna look really cool when I have like all the industrial, like this stuff. Whoa, that is way too close. When I have all this type of stuff cleaned up and, you know, looking a little bit less functional. None of this is gonna be here. All this is gonna be gone. Maybe I'll have some sort of build on that island over there. Ooh, some sort of fishing dock in this area, maybe right there. Oh, this would be really cool. I love building fishing docks. But anyways, back here, the ceiling is not finished. I ran out of granite and trapdoors, so I'm going to finish the ceiling in here and then we'll get to that later. I kind of wanted to bring you guys along for that too. I didn't want to just like decorate the entire interior because I do want to kind of walk you through my mindset when I'm building and decorating. I did start on it a little bit. As you can see, you know, I mentioned this right here in the little bar. I thought that was pretty cool. I really like the fireplace and then the couch right here. These are banners that are down below and I had to put torches on here because if you take the light away and then you close it off, it just turns the banners black because it's so dark down there. So you have to light it up down there and like that. And there you go. Now it just looks like pillows. Now I wanted to have them in the corners, but when you put them in the corners of stairs that are turned like this, it just basically shows like the tiniest little bit of the banner. So it didn't really work, but that looks pretty good there. So I was happy with that. Another thing I thought was interesting, I wanted to keep the light levels a little low. I didn't want this to be just totally lit up everywhere. And I want the house to be lit up by the things in the house that should give off light. You know, I don't want to just have torches on the walls like that everywhere just so it's lit up. I want you to walk in and like, just like it is right now, maybe at like a sunset or at night, you walk in and it just, it's a very moody lighting level. Like the lighting really sets the mood, if you know what I mean. Don't get any ideas though, we're just friends. So yeah, I'm gonna eventually substitute all these torches and stuff around that you see for actual like lamps or decorational light sources, if you will. So the light level is actually gonna be a little lower than it is right now in certain places, but I think it's gonna look really cool. I know, you're thinking, does this guy ever shut up? Well, don't worry, because there's more. But we are going to be moving on to a pretty big project that I had to do that I didn't even mention, but it was a huge sidetrack to building this interior. So as you can see from out here, I needed frog lights for this design. So in the last video, I showed you a little clip at the end of a little clip. It was like the last half of the video. The last video, I got these frogs here. I got every color of frog. And then I realized I need these guys to be at a magma cube farm. And to do that, I'm going to have to build a magma cube farm in a certain biome in the nether, which you'll see in a little bit. But then I built it and the nether portal to get to the farm is like 3,000 blocks away. And I am not about to transport these guys that far. And even in the nether, it's a few hundred blocks away. And I am not about to start maneuvering these guys through the nether. One, I'll probably die myself. If not, I'll probably kill them. But regardless, it will take forever. And I don't really want to do that. So here is what I did. I made this nether portal here that takes you out pretty close to the other nether portal. I think the other nether portal, let me see, is right over here. So that one gets us back to our house. And to get to our Froglight farm, we just go a couple hundred blocks in this direction. And then we go down here, right here. So this was a few hours worth of work, and here is the finished product. It's not finished. I gotta still troubleshoot some things and get a bunch more frogs in here, but the concept is pretty straightforward. I think I do need to lower this whole ceiling down 1 block. So if you're not aware of how frog lights work, basically frogs, just like you just saw, eat the small magma cubes like that, and then depending on the color of frog, you will get different colors of frog lights. So the powdered snow right here is to kill the bigger magma cubes, and then the iron golem is here to attract the magma cubes from the farm into the middle, and then once they shrink down, then the iron golem hits them, makes them smaller, and then the frogs will eat the small ones. Right now we only have orange frogs in here, so we need to get some green ones and some white ones, and then we need to get plenty of every kind, like not just one of each, and it's gonna take a while. So, but right here, this nether portal in here leads us to the middle of nowhere. So if I hit F3, we are in a lukewarm ocean. So tadpoles will grow up to be orange frogs if I put them right here. And then we basically can go any direction, and the closest spot to land, we just gotta hope we find all 3 different biomes. Then we can grow the tadpoles into the right color frogs and then just boat them all the way here. We don't have to fly them or anything. It's very easy, pretty safe. And I know what you might be thinking. Well, why don't you just get a bunch of slime balls and then just grow the tadpoles, then bucket them, then just grow them where you need to, and that would be a lot quicker. Well, I don't have a slime farm, so I don't have just stacks of slime balls to feed frogs to get them to grow faster. So I've been just going to the biomes, putting the tadpoles there, and then just waiting like 20 minutes for them to grow into frogs. So I'm gonna be doing a bunch of work with these frogs off camera. Yeah, if you'll notice, the reason this took me so long is, one, I had to dig a lot of this area out. And then once I started building the platform, I started just spamming blocks, and then the basalt is directional. So as you can see, if I were to put the basalt in just random directions, you can see the texture change or the pattern change on the block. So I started doing it and I was like, ooh, I kind of want it all to be in the same direction. So everything is the same direction, and that took way too long for what it was. And while I was waiting on some tadpoles to grow up to be frogs, I saw an ocean monument. So I was like, ooh, I can pass some time, maybe get some sponges or something, and didn't realize that in hard mode, guardian temples are extremely difficult. So I had this little clip here that I almost died. I was on like half a heart. I would have lost everything because there was no way I was going to get back there in time. I probably would have lost everything there, and that would have been a huge setback. So I'm really glad that I am amazing at this game. No, I'm just kidding. No, I am glad that I didn't die. I would have been quite upset. But then this clip right here, I was testing out my frog light farm and I had my hotbar and stuff turned off, so I couldn't see my health, and I kept slowly getting hit by the small magma cubes, and I ended up dying on accident. And I spawned at the world spawn, so then I had to walk all the way back, which is like a couple thousand blocks away. So that was a huge waste of time. But then I got my stuff back and finished up the farm, and now I think we're all caught up. And now it is time to finally get into moving this storage into the house, getting it all organized. So let's get that over with. Wow, that took a lot more time than it looked like on that time lapse. There were a few areas that I did clean up also that I didn't show in that time lapse. Obviously, we got this area here right outside our house. I still haven't moved any of this stuff. These chests are still full. I haven't really found a good place for those yet, but we're getting close. I got to eat that cake. Then we're going to clean these farms up here because eventually we're going to build a melon and pumpkin farm over in our industrial district, as well as a wool farm and a cow farm. So this area is going to get cleaned up. It'll be fairly soon. But let's check out over here real quick in our other areas we cleaned up. So as you can see, there's no more chests right in this area. There's no more smelting system at all. And all the chests in here, except for the collection chest for the farm, It's all cleaned up. It's looking really nice. And then our little villager area up here, all these chests are gone. So this is really nice. Everything is all consolidated into the house. I even had storage down in our hostile mob farm down there, which is all in the house as well. So this is awesome. Everything we need storage wise for now is in the house and pretty well organized. Let's go check it out. Now from that time lapse, all I showed was this bit of chest right here, but I also added this bit because I ran out of space here. So over here, none of these are even full yet. And I'm going to label these with mini blocks or like invisible item framed items or something like that. I also got some hidden light sources back there with the frog lights under the chest. That way we can get rid of these stupid torches. And I might change up the ceiling to add a little more like hidden light back there, but also add more mangrove. I think the granite might be a little much, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I'll just give you a quick rundown here. Anytime you see shulker boxes, it's because they are full of that material. We got, you know, cobblestone, the random stone variants, and then deep slate, gravel, sand, dirt, grass blocks. And then we have our wood organized here. So we have a whole row of logs, planks, and then I added them in the order that one, I'll most likely need them. So you got oak, obviously oak's got to go first. It's the OG. And I basically added these in the system in the order that they were added into the game. So we got oak, birch, spruce, and then we'll have jungle right here, then dark oak, acacia. The order might got of what the hell am I saying? The order might have gotten a little messed up around this area here, but after that, I was like, yeah, I'm probably not even going to use most of this wood here. It was at this point when I was editing this video that I realized showing you every single chest in my newly organized storage system is something that a viewer could probably not care any less about. So instead of overwhelming you with such an impressive storage system, I have decided to give you a little mental break. Isn't that nice? Now, while your mind is at ease, allow me to walk us through a quick meditation exercise. Let's all take one deep breath in, and on the exhale, let's all just say the one word we're all thinking right now. Ready? Deep breath in. Subscribe. Thank you for joining me on that relaxing journey. Now let's get back to this clown who is somehow still talking about storage. The stone cutter variants of blocks. My mistake, he is still going. Judging by the amount he talks, I would imagine he has the lung capacity of a small horse. Oh, it seems like he's about wrapping up. See you next time. So that was basically our block storage, and over here is going to be basically our item storage. So any like mob loot and just random materials like that are all going to go into this side. And this is basically going to be the starter storage, and later I'm going to make some sort of like bigger storage system with item filters and all that good stuff. So moving on, now we can get into, are we about to do the original idea for this video? I think we might actually be on to the initial goal I had for this video. Build some sort of farm. And I already have an idea of what farm that is going to be. Now that I beat the Ender Dragon and I went end city raiding, I want to get netherite. And I usually do the bed method to find ancient debris, so I'm going to need a ton of wool. So let's head over to the industrial district and build us a wool farm. Now you might be looking at this mess behind me and thinking that is not a wool farm, but indeed it is. It is a custom wool farm. Now I will tell you this is probably not very efficient. It might even break very soon down the road, but it's going to look cool doing it. And we are getting our first demonstration with it right now. So as you can see, the sheep goes on a little roller coaster ride, goes into the launcher, gets sheared out of midair, dropped back down, goes all the way down the water and booped in a minecart all the way back up. We need to get out of the way, and then goes down here and then onto the rails and into our little system. It was supposed to go right there, but the rails are screwed up. But so then it will just eventually fill up the entire storage system over here with sheep. There's going to be 16 in total. That way we can have one sheep for every color. Now, before I get into the explanation, I will tell you that there is an entire video of the process of me making this along with one of my friends, Eichberg, who helped me build this and come up with the design. So if you want to see how we built this and the process of it, then go check out that video. I will leave a link in the description. It was a lot of fun, so I would definitely check it out if I were you. But just the basic explanation of how it works, we'll just start over here. So here is where the storage of sheep is going to be, and let me just go ahead and set these rails. So now the next sheep that comes along will go to this right here. And as you saw, when they come from the shearing machine right there, they'll go on a roller coaster ride, drop down to here, and then make their way here. As soon as they hit this detector rail, this repeater right here with a little bit of delay will flip that rail to go to this side, because now that shows that this section right here is occupied. So that way we don't have sheep colliding and stacking up and all that good stuff. And then we have just 16 of those. And then this sheep right here should actually demonstrate this very soon for us. But we found out that sheep actually can eat grass from under a rail in a minecart, which was absolutely insane to learn. And as soon as they do, there's an observer under this block right here. And that observer sees the grass block change and then puts an update into the copper bulb here, which the comparator then reads. And then it goes up and powers this sticky piston right here, which activates every other time due to the copper bulb. And then it will lift this observer up, which then will give a little pulse into this repeater here, powering this redstone, which powers this block. And then it powers the rail on the ground, sending the sheep off down the line. So then when every one of these sections is filled, then the sheep will just go all the way to the end and then to our roller coaster here. It'll make its way up here, and there will be a bunch of building around this. So this doesn't really make sense right now, but next episode or in the future, there's going to be a bunch of building around this. Like, it's going to look all industrial. It's going to be cool. I just haven't had the time to design it yet. So then the sheep makes its way down here, and just to make it more fun and interesting, I got them like jumping and hopping around off of different rails onto different rails. So it hops down here, lands, keeps going, goes around the corner, hops down again, and then right here, this detector rail turns on this activator rail, and then the activator rail, when it's on, it kicks the sheep out, and because there are no other blocks for the sheep to spawn on, it goes into this corner block right here, and then that same detector rail triggers this launcher to go off. So once the sheep gets in here, that block will get pushed out of the way, and then there is a slime block launcher under that block, and then it will drop the sheep down, launch the sheep up with the slime block, and then this one will launch it horizontally this way, perfectly under this dispenser right here, which has a bunch of shears in it, and this tripwire right here will activate that at the perfect time for it to shear the sheep as soon as it gets under it. And then all the wool will go flying everywhere, land in this collection of hoppers, which is obviously going to be decorated, like I mentioned. The sheep then goes down here, hits the wall, lands down here, doesn't take fall damage, and then flows all the way down into there. And then there is another tripwire system here. Once the sheep hits the tripwire, a minecart will spawn out of that dispenser and also power the rail to then send it up here to go back all the way, drop through the roof of this building, which is going to be here, into the storage system and back in with all of its sheep friends. So yeah, very, very simple. Probably as simple as it gets for a sheep farm, I would say. I mean, it doesn't really get much easier than that, right? So now all that's left to do is get a bunch of sheep and load this entire system up to see how inefficient it's going to be or how many problems we're going to run into. I got a feeling we're going to have some issues with sheep colliding and trying to leave the system, and some come in the system at the same time. But yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of nervous because this literally took days to design and creative and finally get to work and then build it in survival. But if it doesn't work, then we're just going to leave it here and then just build a regular roll farm, I guess. Okay, last thing we need to do is get a bunch of sheep in here. I just needed some minecarts, and that's why I started rambling again. Okay, there's 1, 2, and 3, 4. I might regret this, but we got plenty of sheep. It'll be all right. I mean, most of this farm has been ZF inspired, so I might as well really get the full effect, you know? There we go. We got him. Perfect. Okay. Love it. All right, we're just going to walk them the rest of the way. That's 5, and that's 6. No, oh, no, get up here, you dumb sheep. Oh my God, get up here. Perfect. That's 7. Come on. Oh, I don't want you up here. Get off. I don't want you up here. I don't want you up here. Perfect. Careful, careful, careful. Perfect. So graceful. There's number 8. There's number 9, and come on, come on, and number 10, perfect. Okay, 1, 2, 3, here we go again. I probably should have some backup sheep ready. That would probably be smart. You only need backup sheep if anything goes wrong, and nothing's gonna go wrong, so it's fine. Perfect. And perfect landing. Look at that. We're getting even better at this every time. There we go. Number 11, I think I said. Yeah. Okay. Can we get you? Can we scoop you up? Yes. That's 12 and 13. I'd like to hurry up and get this done. It's already midnight. This video has taken forever. All right. Another superb landing. There's number 14. Okay, number 15 and number 16. Here we go. There we go. What was that? Okay, we're gonna watch what just happened, I guess. Perfect. All the way back over, all the way down. He's not gonna go quite that far because there's gonna be a roof there. And this is where I need to make sure that the slots are correct. Yeah, they're colliding because the rails aren't set right. So this station is occupied, so this one should go this way. Same here, same here. You need it. No, you, oh my, oh, this is driving me nuts. You do the same, and you just go into the next available one. That is not the next available one. I am about to lose it. Okay, everything is exactly as it should be. I just don't know why are there sheep missing? I really don't want to look down here and see a sheep. That would be the worst case scenario. No. Why? Why? Oh, no. Okay, let's see. Does he go all the way to the end? They should be going faster than that. Replace all these with powered rails. That needs to switch. That needs to switch. That needs to switch. That needs to switch. There. It's completely set up. It's done. It's done. It's what is that? What is that? Why am I missing a sheep? Why am I missing a sheep, and where is it? Yeah, why? I am gonna freak out. I'm putting this guy back in the system and ending the video here. I can't handle this. You just find a section. I do not care where. Do not show me another sheep that is not in the system. Okay. What? Why? Okay. You just go on. There's one. What? What? So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this sheep farm. I really had a lot of fun designing it, not so much dealing with it these last 30 minutes. And that is not only all I have time for, but that's all I have patience for. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
You need my face?
We'll see. I can't use that. That is
too feminine.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Here, I'll give you another one.
I haven't been able to sneeze in a week. I can't figure it out.
Is that good?
I don't think that is not.
What do you need a little more of? Do you need me to go like?
I need it. I need it to sound like me. It's so annoying. Like, I did not think this would be the one thing holding me back on this video. You can make yourself sneeze. I can't. Like, I freaking snorted water yesterday. Been smelling pepper. Even when I'm not ready to record, I can't sneeze. I've been pulling my nose hairs. Try to do your, like, best impression of me when you do it. Like,
I'm trying. You kind of go like.
Like, that's.
You want? Okay, give me an example.
I just did it.
Like,
that's what that was. That's exactly like I just did it to a real. I can't fake sneeze. I wouldn't want to fake sneeze for the video. It's not the same. I think using yours would be kind of funny.
Okay, hold on. Let me blow my nose.
I've tried that too. It doesn't work.
No, I'm meaning to just clear the system.
Yeah.
Kind of like, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Yeah. Like I said, I snorted water and I could breathe so well. And I was like, ooh, now's the time I need to be smelling pepper then. The fact that you can make yourself sneeze is kind of annoying.
I've always been able to do that.
I know. I wish I could. It would be so handy right now.